All right, we're going to be talking about congruent triangles. Congruent triangles are two triangles that have the exact same angle measurements and the exact same side length. So basically, two triangles that are exactly the same size. Sorry, and some problems might be asking you to name the corresponding sides of two congruent triangles, and here all we have to do is look at the sides that match up, that are the same, that are congruent to each other. Here we have side AB with one hash mark. Here we have side EF with one hash mark. So we could say that AB is congruent to EF. All right, let's look at, how about side BC? BC is congruent to FG. They both have two hash marks. So we could say that BC is congruent to FG. And our last side, AC here has three hash marks. EG has three hash marks as well. So we could say that AC is congruent to, it's an A over there, is congruent to EG. And, oh, I forgot the side there. And those are all three of our congruent sides. They also might ask you for the angles, the corresponding angles of two congruent triangles. And here we're going to do something very similar. We have A with one congruent mark here and E with one congruent mark. So we could say that angle A is congruent to angle E. Looking at our other angles, we've got B with 2, F with 2 as well. So we could say angle B is congruent to angle F. And our last angles, angle C and G, have 3 marks. So we could say angle C is congruent to angle G. Lastly, they might want us to identify the congruent triangles. Whenever you write these, it's very important that you keep the same order. So here we see how the angles match up. A matches with E, B is corresponding with F, C corresponds with G. So when we write our congruent triangles, we are going to say, here I'm going to give myself a little bit of space here. I'm going to, whoops, throw that back over there. All right, we can say that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle, and we see that A matches with E, so here I put E. We can see that A matches with E. We can see that B matches with F, so I'm going to put F next. F. And then we can see that C matches with G. So lastly, I'm going to put G. And notice that the order here is always going to be the same, matching with its corresponding angles. So A goes with E. We could say that B goes with F. And then lastly, that C goes with G. So this is how we identify the congruent triangles and list the corresponding sides and the corresponding angles. Let's do one more example. Same thing, list the corresponding sides and angles and identify the congruent triangles. So here, let's start with our sides. And our sides, we see that, well, here's one hash mark here on AF. And there's one hash mark on the second triangle on FD. So let's say that AF is congruent to FD. We also have CF with 2 hash marks and BF with 2 hash marks. So we can say that CF is congruent to BF. And our last side is going to be the one with 3 hash marks, AC and DB. So let's say AC is congruent to DB. All right, let's go ahead and move towards our angles. And our angles, we're going to do the same thing, looking at our congruent marks. Here we have A and D, both have 1. So say angle A is congruent to angle D. We've got C with 2 and B with 2. Say angle C is congruent to angle B. And the last one, now looks a little tricky, but F here is an angle for this triangle and this triangle here. So we can say that angle F is congruent to angle F. Lastly, let's identify our, okay, I'm just going to leave those. Let's identify our congruent triangles. We'll have triangle, I'm going to say ACF is congruent to triangle. Now I see that my A is going with D, so I'll put D first. Next I have a C that goes with B, so I'll put B next. And F obviously goes with F, so I'll finish off with that. And here's my congruent triangles, and we're done.